I'm about that. Cause I'm about that. I'm about that come up, running up on them fools that are talking foolish. Try to get them funds up, killing them mics just like I ran a jewels in. Y'all gonna get done up front, knowing that kid with an attitude, but you can't really blame this motherfucker for what he had to do. I'm about that cash flipping, I'm getting it on and off the market. Not about that VIP, not me, not never been a fan of carpet. All about that RIP for all of my Jesus gone departed. All about that finish what I started, I'm about that.
Top down the night, you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night. Down the night, you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night.
Know that I'm about it. Want a man I can bring the drama, but it ain't by chance I'm fucking rapping. You don't really want a problem. Made a little cash in the back end, but still rapping like I'm starving. Yeah, y'all gotta ask who the man is. Hope I'm gonna be like, beg your pardon. I'm about that.
Top down the night, you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night. Down the night, you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is the YSN Power Hour. Yes, we do own the night, but oh boy, did we own this morning. We've got some great news, some breaking news for you, and of course, we're going to catch you up all on everything sports here in the Valley. To start the show off, though, boys, like we always do, it's National Something Day. It is let's get this straight, National Night Out Day. So from that standpoint, where is your favorite place to spend a night out with the boys, with your lady? Jeff Bezos, you seem like a perfect candidate to open this discussion.
I'm pretty at home at Quench Bar and Grill in Boardman on Market Street with the boys a little bit, and it's a good bar.
Dynamite free advertisement right there. Go ahead, Quinn.
No free ads.
I am wherever Jeff is not.
Did you tell him the microphone doesn't work yet?
No, it works, boss. 100%
No,
good on
because
my
then
end.
he's just going to switch with
And then,
so just let him run with it.
That's his man on the street microphone. All right, go ahead. Making his triumphant return from, where did you go, Michigan? Pennsylvania, Du Bois, Pennsylvania. It is Max Baseball Academy. Billy Mack, what's up?
How you doing?
I'm well, man. Where's your favorite place to spend a night out with the boys, with Kate, whoever?
I'm actually going to go there tonight. It's definitely my go-to. What was that place called again? Poorhouse.
Oh, that's it. The wings are unbelievable.
I love their wings. I love their nice cold draft adult beverage.
There's some questions already coming in about the heart above your head. What's that all about?
Oh, this is for the COVID for nurses and EMTs and essential workers.
Oh, very cool. So there's some rhyme to your madness there. I can appreciate that, and your lace curtains are phenomenal. We can appreciate that. Ty Bartell, what is going on? Where's your favorite place to spend the night out?
I'm doing good, DJ. And for me, whether it's the boys or my fiance, in the summer it's Indians games, in the winter it's Cavs games. Boys love it. My fiance is really big into basketball and baseball, so I mean it's always a nice night out. Especially, I like the baseball a little bit more than the basketball, but yeah, baseball night outs are nothing beats it. I don't think. Are the Indians doing the cardboard cutouts where you can have you and your fiance next to each other, even if you're not there? They are. I think it's like $100. I think it's the same going rate as the A's. I know they're doing the cardboard cutouts. I think it's $100 and you can put them into the stand somewhere. That sounds about right because I did a little research. The Tampa Bay Rays are doing it for $60, so that makes even the cardboard cutouts. I don't want to see the Rays play baseball. We open up I guess we roll out the red carpet for a new member of YS Nation and possibly the YS team. Let's talk. EB makes his try. Yeah, we're not going to roll over you, EB, but live from Planet Fitness, gentlemen. Go ahead.
What's going on? This is Craig Caputo. He's a coworker of mine. Obviously, already has a fan base with Big Man Caputo.
Shout out to my boy Robert Swit,
former Ursuline legend. but he's 6'7". He's tall. He's skinny, and he's pretty cool, I guess. So
Somebody has to do it.
Very cool.
he's here by default, but that's where we're at.
Is he your boss? Is this the only way you can get on
No,
during working hours at Planet
he's
Fitness?
He's not my boss.
All right. Your favorite place to hang out? What's your spot?
My place probably go to would be as we found out Birdfish.
Very cool.
It's just practical because it's walking distance. If the night takes a turn for the worse, if not, if I stay in Columbiana, maybe Factory 46. Outside of that, those are my two go-tos, just because they're close and nearby. Outside of that, Craig, it's up to you.
So I'm a backhanded compliment kind of guy. I really like hole in the walls. So to that point, I'm going to have to say La Villa out in Struthers. You can walk in with $40, leave with change, and have everything you need on the night.
I like it. These are some good play. Hopefully they become sponsors. We're giving them so much love. Richie Giuliano, outside of Scene Park, where is your favorite place to hang out at night?
Yeah, mine's Progressive Field with Ty there, but during this time, probably Inner Circle Pizza in Canfield. You got a bunch of TVs, not old enough yet, but a nice bar and good wings and pizza.
I like that precursor because there's a lot of questions going around whenever people, hey, I don't think he's quite 21 yet. All right, A. Hartwig, your thoughts. Where's your spot to spend a night out?
Geez, my life's pretty boring. I don't go out at night too much. I miss being out at high school gyms calling basketball and volleyball and softball and baseball games. I tell you that. I can't wait to get back out to that part. But I'm going to go with YSN headquarters on a Friday night. Let's do it.
There is no better place on a Friday night than right here. I'll tell you. Well, like it's 2 a.m. and we're still like going at it. We're still having a good time. So, and it's a perfect segue to man alive. Did we have some news break this morning? With I woke up to the OHSAA. A dear friend of mine, a guy that's been there for us, an advocate for us, sends me over this information and says, "Hey, I think you're about to hit it big. I think you guys are going to go to the moon on this." The OHSAA is to permit live video for Friday night footballs this fall, and it's up to the schools. And we've fielded. Quinn's been a part of these conversations all morning long into the afternoon. We fielded probably about 50 phone calls this morning and emails going back and forth. We are going to have live video at the majority, if not each and every one of our schools. Unofficially, we have one conference that is completely signed on board to video. We are excited for that. There will be some new schools that come along with that. The NE8 is still one of those conferences that we'll have. The MVAC we will have as well with video. So the way it's looking right now is we're working with a third-party organization that will handle our pay-per-view the way that we're going to do it, and you know, for I think $9.99 is the rate that everybody's going across the country right now. $9.99, you'll be able to watch your favorite high school team from wherever you are in the globe, and you'll be able to have that downloaded. I think the next day is the way it's set up. So this is a huge win for, I think, high school sports. This is a huge win for the state of Ohio. I think it's going to be a win for the OHSAA, and I certainly think it's going to be a victory for us. Guys, what was your first take when you heard this news come through? Let's start with you, Ant.
I would say I was just like, hey, we're the game. We're the only game in town, and it's just kind of exciting because we're about to run this world. And the other thing is, it's about time, because if the OHSA, I mean, all the last couple of weeks, it's been no fans in the stands. It's been the Prada. So if you're going to do that, then you have to let live video into the football stadium. So I'm happy. It makes complete sense, and I'm happy that we're on board to do it, because we're about to go all the way to the moon, and I'm excited about it.
Richie.
Yeah, my first reaction was this is definitely huge from a production standpoint, because last year we covered all the football games through radio, and it's definitely different, especially around this time period. High school kids, if they want to watch their friends, they're probably not going to be tuning in via radio. I mean, that's just how it is nowadays. Not a lot of people listen to the radio for sports, and it's sad, but that's just the truth. So I think it's huge that we get live video and people can actually see their players and their friends and family in person.
EB and C, what's going on?
My take, it's about time, and it's a long time coming. With it being 2020, there's no reason for this not to be a thing. And outside of that, if you're a school that's questioning this or you're not sure, really there's one question, and is what are you waiting for? Craig?
No, I agree. The only thing I could extend off of that is the benefit it's going to play for families that are really spread out amongst the country. Now grandma and grandpa or brothers and sisters that have moved on from the house can watch their loved ones play, and it's really going to be an advantage. So,
yeah, that's two great points right there. Ty, you're one of the announcers as well. What does this mean for you?
It was. I'll tell you. I woke up this morning and I looked at the phone, and then I saw that they were going to permit a live video, and I just remember thinking, like, this is a real great shot for us to turn it big. And it takes me back to, when I first joined on. I think it was sometime last year when I first had my little tryout thing with you, and how just honored I am to be a part of this group, and how honored I am to be voicing the Falcons this year. And I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited for what the future holds for YSN.
How about Robert Switko with probably the comment of all time right here? Definitely going to allow more inspiration for the youth to get into sports broadcasting journalism. It's a dying art. It really is. And one of the reasons that we do what we do is because I don't think that there's any kid that doesn't grow up kind of counting down the clock as if they were the announcer. And now that, maybe their sports dreams didn't go the way they thought they were going to go, now you can be the voice of blank. You can be the voice of whoever. So that's kind of why we do what we do. A man that loves our stuff so much that he sponsors us at every turn, anything we ever ask for. Billy Mack, what went through your mind whenever you heard this?
I really, for weeks, I think we've all been kind of discussing this is a possibility that should happen. And I really don't know why that there is this regulation of not allowing live. I think this is a great opportunity for YSN, and I can't wait to see what comes about it.
And he can't spend his money fast enough on the Newton Falls football team this fall. Let's go over to Go Yankees and Q. You guys have kind of been behind the scenes watching it as it all transpires. Your thoughts?
I'm super excited for us as a team, as YSN, because like Anthony said, we're about to take off and go to the moon, and hopefully this starts something real big for us, but I'm super excited.
Can you lean into your microphone a little bit? We're having trouble hearing you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I said we're super excited.
No, it doesn't really work. It was a joke. Go ahead.
Yeah, like you said, I'm more the behind the scenes guy. I'm not one that's out there calling games and stuff like that. And I mean, I'm more excited for us as a group, like as YSN, to where we're going. To where we're going. I'm a lot more excited about that than actually like calling the games and stuff like that, because I don't do that. So seeing the growth of the company is just incredible, and I can't wait for it to grow even more.
I am incredibly honored, first off, for all you guys to be part of this team moving forward. Welcome, Craig, by the way. You are officially part of the team.
Thank you.
But I'm excited because this is something that we have been working towards for 3 years. Now, there's no guarantees that, number one, we have a season. Now, I don't want to be the guy that rains on the parade, because trust me, I want this to happen more than anybody. But the reality is it's going to be just as easy for them to make as we've seen, make a statement like this and then pull the rug out from underneath us and say, well, it is what it is. But when you look at it, guys, it's something. Oh boy, heads up, here we go. It's something where when you look at this from a perspective of a fan, it's going to be great, because if you're not allowed in the stadiums come this fall, you'll still be able to utilize our services at YSN or whatever it may be. But I know that for the 50-some schools and organizations that we represent, our best foot's forward. I checked with Brian, who runs, if you don't know Brian, he runs all the technical stuff. Damn it, Paul. Why do you look like Prison Mike right now?
It's raining outside. So.
Paul.
So, but in all seriousness, we are super excited about moving forward. This is a new opportunity for us, and we are going to take it as we've taken any that we've overcome so far. The adversity that we've gone through has all led to right now, and now it's game time. And as I sent out a text to all you guys this afternoon, we are the game. So I'm excited to have our schools on board, excited to have our sponsors, because can you imagine what the sponsorships are going to be like right now for people wanting to get in front of thousands and thousands and thousands of people? Like, now is the time. Our prices have not gone up yet, but I'm telling you what, the space is going to become limited, guys. So make sure you're getting on board. Muntz, since you popped in a little bit tardy, we're going to go to Prison Mike for his take on where you were at when you heard the news and essentially, what it meant to you.
I was at home, and you sent me that text. I was like, 9:30 this morning when I got that. So it was great. And I was actually driving home, listening to the show here and watching the show before I came downstairs because it's pouring down rain out. So I needed to come in here. Halloween 300. Yeah. I'm getting ready. But no, I think this. I'm watching Switka there. I think it's going to be awesome. I mean, we're ready to blow this thing up because the nice thing is too with the being video, it's going to be like what we've been doing down at Scene Park, being able to have video commercials for our advertisers as well is going to be huge. So
I don't want to laugh every time that you talk, Paul, but Jeff definitely just tweeted the show on his own while he's on the show. So you've got double Betos.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? That wasn't me.
Jeff the man, huh?
He follows up with a Go Press Go. And then we got Anthony Malone, another one of our guys. You know why they call him Prison Mike? No, Ant. Why do we call him Prison Mike? Because of the Dementas. The Dementas. We are completely derailed right now as it stands. But to put a bow on this one, Betos, it's one of those things where we're happy, we're excited. It was a big day for us. Everybody, every part of YS Nation is celebrating right now because this was the cog. This was the only thing standing in our way. And now, boys, it's go time. I'm excited. So some other news from just about an hour ago. Cross country and track and field are now added to the approved sports in contact wise. So they listed Lieutenant Governor Houston listed all the different sports that are now able to be utilized. Football, lacrosse, still on that no go list, but you have cross country now, which was a problem a few weeks ago because of the pack mentality of cross country. Are you on board with cross country? And a second part of that question is, what do you think the next sport will be to be approved for the OHSAA? We'll start with you, Paul.
I think it's kind of ridiculous that it was on the list to begin with, because I'm sorry, if volleyball is not on there, where you've got a team that is, I know they're on a gym floor, but they still get very close in proximity. They're all hitting the same ball, and you're going to tell a bunch of kids who are running cross country in the middle of a field through the woods that, they have more contact than a volleyball team would. I think it was ridiculous. It was about time that they needed to do that and say, let's go, put them on that list.
And
I think the only holdup for cross country to respond to Paul was the running gets you really, kind of you're breathing heavy, which apparently maybe spreads the virus, but I don't know. I always thought it was silly too. I was just that those are the things that I heard we're keeping cross country off, where the close running mentality, shoulder to shoulder, and then also the fact that you're running, so you're breathing real heavy and you're right next to someone. But I thought it was silly, and I think it's great to see cross country get on the approved list, because this is one more sport that these kids will have the opportunity to go and compete in.
Juliano.
Yeah, I like how cross country and track and field are being added to this. And I think there's different ways that you could go around this, where you could start runners at different points and time them that way, whether they'd be 10 feet apart, 20 feet apart, whatever you want. But I think there's ways that you could go around this where they all don't have to start at the same point, and therefore you could spread out the race a little more.
Kind of like the Tour de France.
Yes, yeah. You could spread them out, and they all don't have to run in packs.
I don't know. I'll be honest. I think I've been to one cross-country meet in my life. Listen, I saw a shirt one time, guys. It said, "Our sport is your punishment," and it was cross-country. And I was like, that is incredible insight from someone who runs for fun. We're on to you, EB and Mr. Caputo.
I kind of agree with Richie on this one. If it's a time thing, to just start them differently. But I had to do some research with my cross country girls at home. Apparently, it is a super physical.
Really?
When you get into the packs, I guess people do try to pick one another off and run each other over or whatever they do. I don't know. I'm not a cross country runner, as you can see. But,
No.
Me too, EB. I'm with you.
That's my take. Craig, it's all you, bud.
I'll keep it short and sweet. I don't have much to say here. Let the kids play.
Atta boy. See, I like that. The new guy understands the way the show works. Ty Bartell, your thoughts on cross country and track being approved?
I agree with Paul from the Cobra Kai Dojo down there. I really think I think that if you're going to allow sports like volleyball to happen, you got to let all kinds of sports like the cross country, track and field happen. You can't single out one or two sports. If sports are going to play, they all need to play. If they're not going to play, then they don't play. It's got to be in unison. It's not fair to just single out one or two sports.
Paul, I can respect the jersey. I didn't see it, but is that legit?
What? The Joe? Yeah, it's a Hammer and Hank, baby. Cooperstown collection.
Very impressive. Very in the Cobra Kai Dojo. Is that a baby in the background that is skydiving? What is that?
A flying child? Oh, there we go. Where is that?
Nope, other way. Nope.
There we go. Yeah. Oh, there she is.
Doesn't it look like a baby skydiving?
She's flying. There she goes. Matter of fact, not to I'll throw myself under the bus on this one. I threw her in the air, and my wife took the picture. So
well, your wife's a photographer. She does a great job. Just looks like she's literally flying over top of your shoulder. Back to the show. Billy Mack, your thoughts on cross country and track and field being added to the list of accepted sports?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. I think it should have happened a long time ago. And much to what we talked about already is they could start different times. And if it's a timed event, like shot putters or disc throwers, they don't really need to be around anybody for the most part, except for maybe the judge. I'm not really sure how it goes. But, I don't see an issue with this. It should have happened a long time ago.
And we got the dynamic duo.
Yeah, I agree with Billy and pretty much everybody else. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where like it should have been back a long time ago. And to answer your question, DJ, on what's to kind of fall next is what is left is just football and soccer left now.
He had a list of them. I mean, there was a pretty hefty list.
Lacrosse is in the spring though, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There was track and field, so I think they're just covering all their bases.
Yeah, I think they're just going.
They do track in the winter too, and in late fall. Yeah, they do like an indoor. Yeah.
Interesting enough. JB, your thoughts?
I'm super excited for those being approved. It took a lot longer than it should have. I'm super excited for just YSN in general because cover cross country or cover track would be pretty cool for all of us to do.
Let's not get carried away.
Track meets and stuff.
Guess who just volunteered their time for that?
There it is.
There it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, bringing you the seventh grade track meet
of cross country.
Sorry, you guys are breaking up.
It's really not that bad.
The headphones that are not connected to anything at all. Congratulations. It's not bad. It's not a bad sport to watch. However, keep in mind the way YSN works right now is we're a lot of times a one-camera setup. So you're not going to want to listen to a radio or audio broadcast of cross-country or track.
Here comes the runner.
You're sure as hell not going to want to.
I would make that electric.
Can we get Jeff a camera and he has to run with them, like behind? And
a body cam?
If I die, it's all right.
Get him a body cam like a police officer? Yeah, because I think that'd be funny. He'd follow him for about 100 meters. And then
Don't forget
He'll look like Batista.
meets and stuff. There's a guy that follows the last place person on a four-wheeler. So you put me on a four-wheeler with a body camera, I could be telling you what that last place person's doing.
You would run somebody over.
I don't even trust you with AA batteries. I'm not going to give you a four-wheeler.
And run into somebody.
Hey, man, I went to South Range. We ride four-wheelers all the time.
He would run that poor kid over and would be liable.
I run faster. I wouldn't have to run you over. There you go.
Go Yankees.
Go Yankees.
So anybody that doesn't understand the Go Yankee, just go follow Jeff on Twitter. And every time he gets in an argument, he just ends it with "Go Yankees," and that's local, that's regional, national. Jeff is a great follower.
It fits perfect that he's sitting with Quinn, because Quinn's argument is always LeBron's better just because.
Yeah,
Just because.
I don't
LeBron
care.
is better.
I don't care.
We're not starting
Just
that.
because.
I don't care. Guys, keeping with the idea of things that are getting improved and the constant conversation, Lieutenant Governor Houston with a quote here: "We're keeping the options open in speaking about sports. We want them to return to play." Now, that being said, do you feel like Lieutenant Governor Houston is an advocate for what we're trying to do, or is this all lip service? We'll go reverse skate. JB, you heard it. What do you think?
I think it's just all lip service, my opinion, because my question is, like, say they close school down, right? That's my guy, right? Hi.
Do you know who Steve Leslie is?
Nah, close enough. But like, my question is this: like, with the school and everything coming back, right? What if they shut the school down again? Like, what happens? Like, are we going to just shut down football like we did with baseball? And, I just think it's it's him talking to make everyone happy and keep the hope up.
Quinn, your thoughts on this quote?
I have two thoughts. One, Jeff, how do you not know Steve?
Oh, no.
We golfed with him.
Hey, what's up, Steve?
And secondly, yeah, I hate saying this, but I agree with Jeff. I think it's kind of just a CYA for all of them, and they're just trying to pass it along and make it work so everybody kind of thinks we're moving forward.
I feel like a little angst is going to come into the show with his next box. Billy Mack, take it away.
I think it's just lip service. I think they're just continuing the trend of just, hey, let's just keep talking, right? It's like you just won't commit to anything, and really you're so PC in the words you use and how you describe things. So I just think it's just lip service, and I think eventually what's going to happen is a lot of schools are going to go into like a 10 or 15-day quarantine when the schools open up at some point. So I think we're going to see suspension of play of fall sports at some break in action, but not all schools are going to go through that, just some.
Ty, you have been pretty much opposite of everybody the entire way. We're trying to keep our hopes up, and you're sitting there, bopping whack-a-moles. Talk to me about where you're at on this. Do you think this is lip service, or do we actually have an advocate inside those four walls?
I think it's lip service, honestly, and I've always erred on the side of pessimism. I call it more realism than pessimism, but I just it's honestly it's blame delegating, and that's what I've said since the beginning. It's we'll have this guy say this, but it's not actually making a decision. So let's pass it to the governor. Well, it's up to the OHSAA. Well, no, it's up to the governor, and we're just passing it back and forth, just waiting for someone to make a decision. Now we just throw someone else into the ring. Now that's like, well, maybe we'll see, and it's like just tell us yes or no. I mean, what are we doing here?
EB?
I've been saying it all along. It's going to be mid-August before they make a decision, and so it's going to be probably August 15th. Husted even said he wanted to wait until we got closer to the season. So all they're doing now, instead of locking themselves in and giving themselves a date, is they're just saying we're going to check it out and give it, look at it a little bit longer. Which now it just buys them more time, so they don't have to sit there and come up with a firm date or an end date on everything. So, I mean, we knew this all along. I said last week this was going to happen. They're going to wait until mid-August to make an educated, opinionated decision, and they'll see how things look. Numbers are going up and down, so they're going to wait that 21 days from the end of July to see how things look again and reassess from there.
Craig, is that how you're seeing it as well?
It's how I see it. It's not how I'm feeling it, to be honest with you. I don't think it should be up to a lieutenant or a governor. The lieutenant's just the fill-in of the governor, so he's not really the one to be making the decisions anyways. I mean, it's in a perfect world, I'd like to see permission slips. It's up to the kids and the parents.
The waivers,
yeah. All the risk is now taken off of the school, but I'll leave it there.
Richie, you're a guy that's kind of tried to play, glass half full. Do you still feel that way?
Yeah, no, I think I'm going to agree with everybody else on this one. I mean, the quote's just kind of blah. There's nothing specific in the quote. There's no dates. It's just we're keeping our options open. And everybody knows they're keeping their options open. It's been like that for the past 3 months, and they just don't want to commit to a date. So at the end of the day, I guess we're just going to have to wait and see in August.
All right, down to Anthony from Kansas City. What are you feeling?
Richie used a great word, commit. The state of Ohio kind of feels like that guy that's been dating a girl for 5 years and he doesn't want to really commit to anything. That's what the state of Ohio kind of feels like. You know, they don't want to commit to a date. They don't want to lock themselves in, and that's just, you know, it's kind of getting annoying to be honest.
So basically, you're saying that we are Pam Beasley and it is the state is Roy. There's no date. We're engaged. There's just no date. I get it. All right, Muncie, you feeling the same way?
I do, and I think if they were serious about it, they'd come out and, you know, try to lift that 72-hour ban. You know, that's what everybody's kind of freaking out about right now too, is that whole testing the people before 72 hours. And I think that was something that not only the OHSAA but the state came out and put that in there and said, hey, that's kind of maybe their way of washing their hands of it, saying, well, that rule's in there. If you can commit to that, then great, maybe you can play. But if you can't, then sorry for your luck that you can't do that. So
I have an add-on with that, because I kind of scanned through some of the comments that we had during our show and during some of the releases we had yesterday on social media. And one comment stood out amongst the rest, and it said, if a temperature check is good enough for our businesses, why is it not good enough for our schools and athletics? Anybody have an answer to that?
Kids. Because it's our
kids.
children.
That's the only thing. I mean, it's
that's
children.
why. Our kids are being held at a high standard, which it should. It's just how the world works, and I think that's the biggest reason why.
Interesting take, Anthony. You had the same.
Yeah. I think the only change is, it's minors, it's children, it's kids that are, you know, kindergarten to 17 years old. So you just want to be a little bit more, you know, careful with what you're doing with them.
There is a tsunami happening outside of our East Palestine headquarters, so I hope everybody is doing okay. We got to check that leak in the back there, right by Go Yankees, because it is yet to be sealed.
Yeah, nothing.
Anybody else have anything on the temperature checks for adults as opposed to kids? I mean, EB, you usually have a good take on something like this.
It's a bullshit excuse, because really all it is if something happens to where someone shows that they're sick and they do spread it, that no one wants liability. We're running temperature checks for AAU and everything else right now, so the whole ordeal just doesn't make sense. Like, more or less, it's just a bunch of people who don't want to make a decision, and they're prolonging the whole situation when this decision could have been made probably end of June, if not before. But now they just want to prolong it and really make sure whatever it fits their narrative and everything else. So it's annoying. It's prolonging it. It's beating a dead horse every day. You know, we'll just get used to it, I guess.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we have a lot of stuff to touch base on, including the continuing coverage of this COVID, how it relates to our kids, how it relates to schools, and how it relates to our sports coming this fall. All that and more, along with the G. Burbick Farm What's Your Beef? And Craig, you better have a good one, because you're about to get initiated, my friend. All that and more on the YSN Power Hour, brought to you by these great sponsors after this.
21
Good evening,
News.
And thank you for joining us.
Let's get right to our top
More
story
experienced
tonight.
reporters.
A new Wilmington restaurant.
GM Lordstown.
Telling more local stories. We'll look at
Baby
efforts
boy
to
is
curb
recovering from a broken
around our
Good
valley.
Community in Niles. We are here in Youngstown, right up.
Because you expect
Important for everyone. No place like home.
more local news.
In Mercer County
Before
Court.
they become life-threatening. 21 News is our valley's #1 local news.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends: shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is here, so it's all hands on deck to make sure your plans still meet your needs for 2020.
Call us today.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the YSN Power Hour. DJ Oakley here, along with some of my friends. Some of them have their Twitter tags, and some of them don't. If you really want it bad enough, I'm sure you can ask in the comments, and they'll give it to you so you guys can connect on social media. Guys, one of the most interesting topics we've talked about in a long time, a Pac-12 Players Union. Is this real, Billy Mack? This is one of the topics you wanted to discuss. Lead us in it.
So the players have gotten together and they've kind of made some demands. So I don't know if they're necessarily a union, but I think that they're trying to develop something. College athletes are trying to do something in the past few years. We've seen it with the NCAA football game and player jersey sales and a lot of things with selling their likeness for money, and they're not allowed to do so. So they're trying to do a couple things. They want to make sure that they're able to not play this year and still receive their scholarship, and that's something that they're demanding during the COVID period. They also want, this is the crazy one to me, is they want coaches to get rid of the performance and academic bonuses that they get. So they want coaches to willingly give up extra bonuses in their money. They also want schools to spend more money to have every sport available. As an example, they had written here is they said Stanford University should reinstate all sports discontinued by taping their almost $30 million and use that to make sure every sport is available at the school. So there's a lot of dictating going on here. They're basically saying if every one of these demands are not met, they're not playing. So, and then they want 2% of their money to go to Black Lives Matter and racial injustice. There's just so many things. Some of this is just off the wall that you think that they just kind of created in their head. They want medical insurance for 6 years, even though they're only permitted to play 4 plus redshirt year. They want 50% they want to be a 50-50 partner in the Pac-12. So demanding the conference, hey, the revenue that you create for 50% goes to the players in every sport, and every single university athlete gets that, and they want 6-year athletic scholarships. There's a ton of stuff here. There's so much stuff. It's unrealistic to think that they're just not. And the NCAA is going to exactly do that. They're going to say, hey, you know what? You guys do your own things. You guys can be pro for all we care. We don't need the Pac-12 to continue. There's a lot of mid-major teams that would love to become a Power 5. You look at teams like TCU coming into the Big 12. So they have no problem recreating a Pac-12. So a lot of those players, I'm not even sure if a lot of those players feel that way. It just seems that maybe a big portion of it, portion of those players are kind of saying, "Hey, that'd be great. If I'm a college athlete, well, yeah, I'd love to have 50% of revenue coming in." But at the end of the day, some of these schools, you go to like a school like Stanford, it's $50,000 a year to go there. Not every student in general gets their money, gets their scholarship through an athletic. They have to pay that up, or not up front, but they have to go out like everybody else does, get a loan, and kind of figure it out, and even work on campus to bring that tuition down. So I just think that a lot of this is just craziness. I think it'll go away, but you never know in today's world.
If I'm the NCAA, the first thing I'm doing is I'm saying, who handled this for you? And when they point to their lawyer, now listen, if they point to a lawyer who is a representative, it is also an agent. And then from there, I just say, hey, everybody that signed this, we'll see you later, because you're not allowed to have an agent in college.
Oh, that's part of it, though.
That's the thing, right? Is it does nobody's claiming this. It says players of the Pac-12. There's no name to it. There's no individual player to it. It's just, hey, players of the Pac-12.
So it could be Jeff Bezos in his basement saying "player of the Pac-12."
Right.
Love everyone. Oh, we lost Billy.
Hi, Billy. Lost them. But one of the things, like talking about the agent thing, that I was reading about that. That's one of the things that they want to get rid of as well. They want it that if a player declares himself eligible for the draft, goes to pro days and does all those things, and then doesn't get drafted, they want that athlete to be able to come back to the university and continue his college career.
That's part of their fair market and rights and freedoms. Freedom.
You got freedom to say pass on the agent too. Sorry.
Well, there's also a stipulation here. Like, listen, here's the thing. I'm not trying to get too political with it, but we do have a right to free speech. So they're basically in here saying, hey, players should have the right to free speech and should not dictate of what they say to be cut from a team. Now, let's work in the real world environment, right? So as DJ, a person, or I'll just speak for me. If Dion, my employee, goes out there and embarrasses my company, he's fired. Doesn't matter what he says. Okay, so that goes for the real world. So why all of a sudden can you go out here and make an ass of yourself at UCLA and not get cut and lose your scholarship?
We call that the Jeff Bezos rule here at YSN.
Right. Right. So
colleges in the Pac-12 they're the same thing. They're a private organization. So I mean, freedom of speech, that could. But when you're technically employed, I mean, you might not be getting compensation, but a scholarship is basically your compensation. You are an employee of a private organization, and that private organization can tell you what you can and can't say.
Well, there's a difference between being a student and being an employee. Keep that in mind. So if they're going to form this union and essentially become employees of the NCAA, or whether it be the Pac-12, you can be fired. So there's a scholarship. They don't even have to have a reason anymore because it's just cause. It's see you later. We don't have a reason. And in a scholarship, you have to have one. You have to have a reason. Like, oh, we're discontinuing the sport. There's this. There's an injury. To lose your scholarship, there has to be some reason to it. To lose your job, there doesn't have to be.
And that's why that Washington State coach is getting in some trouble right now for what he told that player.
Mark Leach.
Yeah. No, not Mark Leach.
Oh, did he leave Washington State?
Yeah, he's at Old Miss now, isn't he?
I'm behind.
He'd have to go to Old Miss.
Misinformation.
I mean, don't get me wrong, because like I'm a big advocate of college athletes being able to like sell autographed jerseys or whatever because that's your name. You should be able to sell things based on your name. I'm fine.
Your likeness, your likeness.
Your likeness, yes, yeah.
That I'm fine with. But I think anytime a union is formed, I don't know. Like I look at like MLB's union and like how out of control that got. Like this seems even worse. Like I don't know how you can. I don't know. These demands are just ridiculous. I'm with you guys. I just say see ya because there's plenty of college athletes that would love to play for a big five or top five, Power 5 school.
Yeah, you can name it the Schmack 12 and then go get a bunch of different scholarship athletes. I mean, it's as easy as that. And the NCAA and the Pac-12 can do it.
Yeah, it would be a lot different if every Power 5, if all the Power 5 conferences got together and did this. Just doing one, I don't think makes a dent.
And it's the Pac-12. Like, nobody cares.
SEC.
Well, even if it was the SEC, even if it was just the SEC, a lot of those SEC players would probably eventually move off and go to the Big Ten or ACC or other conferences, and I think which is what will happen with the Pac-12. But just one conference trying to do this, it's not going to work. You need all Big Five.
Let me ask you this question, guys. If this was the SEC or the Big Ten or even the ACC, does it have more staying power and more fear and more teeth built into it because they're the real Power 3?
I think if it's the SEC, absolutely. I mean, the Pac-12, I mean, we like to spit on them because they're all the way out west, but they have some really historic programs out there. I mean, college football doesn't look the same without USC, doesn't look the same without UCLA. So, I mean, But yeah, the SEC for sure, they have the
But
power.
don't
especially
forget,
in
this
college
isn't
football.
just football. It's not just football.
Yeah.
It's
It's
the whole entire
basketball.
thing.
It's
But
everything.
football holds
It's everything. Right.
Football is like holds the quote unquote power in
I just
college.
don't think that they've got enough
And
gumption.
Clout?
Yeah, they don't have enough
No.
clout to be able to hold this over, because it's not like the SEC. Like the SEC knows that they are, football universities,
Well,
right?
and look at their
more,
ESPN
right?
contract they
It just
have.
means more.
They're on
Well, do you,
all the
do you
time.
think this is just all, at the same time? Do you think it's just this is terrible timing? Like we're dealing through COVID and a pandemic, and maybe not even a season in general, and then you throw this on it. Is
Well,
this
some
too
of it
much?
is.
I think this is why they did it, though.
Yeah, this
because
is a
now
per-
you've
yeah.
got the threat of the sport not being played,
Mm.
and I think now they could say, "Hey, well, what if we ask for these demands and say, well, even if we don't get to play, even though you want us really, really bad to play, we're going to be like, no, meet
No,
our demands, and then we'll play."
The political climate is perfect for something like this because you see where you're at on social injustice. It's even in their contract.
Right.
You see where you're at with the entire nation is divided. All they have to do is win over one half. They don't have to win over the whole, and all of a sudden it is on the political radar, right, of a Biden or a Trump, and then they say, well, under my campaign, this is what's going to happen. They're doing this the right way. From a marketing standpoint, they're doing this the right way. However, it is going to fall on deaf ears of people like you and I because we're not necessarily D1 athletes. And until they start treating D3 athletes the same as they treat D2 and D1, I'm calling for BS. I mean, you want to talk about D3 athletes who have to pay their loans for the next 20 years? Like, nobody's advocating for them. Where are they at? That's my biggest question. Yeah, I see you, Craig. It's one of those things where, like, if everybody is equal in the athletic world, then no student athlete should have to go to school. Not just D1, not just D2, get D3 in there because they're making the universities and the colleges money just as much as the other guys. So where are they in this conversation? And then after that, what about JUCO? What about, all these other ones? Like, let's make one thing straight. Just because you play a sport does not entitle you to go to college or to university and be part of a team. It does not entitle you. You have to make sacrifices, whether that's financial, whether that's the hours that you put in. Sometimes people are just naturally gifted. Sometimes, like myself, they're not. And you've got to, if you want to play baseball, you want to play a sport at the next level, you're going to have to pay to do it. But I don't want people to feel bad for me. But these D1 athletes who are anybody here, show of hands, who would love to have themselves featured on NCAA football or basketball or anything. They're like this. And I wouldn't complain a lick. I don't want a penny. Like I literally do that myself, but they're complaining about it.
There's an Oregon player. I lost a tweet here, but he basically, I'm paraphrasing, we're not entertainers, we're human beings, and we do not want to be treated as entertainers.
Okay, then you don't get paid like an entertainer.
Again, he is. And he's catching a lot of heat on. I mean, you're in a bad spot when you post something like that on Twitter. But when he posted it on Twitter, and he's getting attacked for exactly that. Well, you're filling up seats. Why does it cost $200 to go to an Oregon football game? Why does it? I get it. Why do you have 100,000 seats in the stadium? It is a form of entertainment, whether you like it or not. And you knew exactly what you're doing. You're trying to get to the NFL to get paid. The NFL is more entertainment than not. And you can sell with betting and fantasy football and all
sports
that.
As a whole. I mean, if you think sports is not entertainment, you're living under a rock.
And I'd like to see the breakdown when I was reading that message earlier on our thread, and I saw where they said they want 50%. Okay, they want 50% revenue, so they want all the sports to get 50% revenue of the money taken in. Well, is that equally? Are they going to say, or is football players going to say, no, we get 50% of what the football revenue is. Swimming, you guys only get 50% of whatever swimming brings in. No, you want it to be equal. Hey, and we're going to split it right across the board.
Well,
everybody gets $1,000.
You can
guys.
also pay the equal taxes.
I think the way it's worded is it says each sport conference revenue. So like volleyball would get 50% of volleyball's conference revenue. football would get 50% of what football.
Why can't you just make it schools?
That's
I don't
how
understand.
it's
I don't understand why you break it down even further.
Yeah.
Just make it about the school. The school
And then-
gets X amount.
Well, it's not even.
They get more
I haven't
money
seen
that way.
anywhere where it breaks
Exactly.
down. I
They
haven't
want
seen,
more
it just
money.
says 50% of the revenue.
It's all. Listen, this is all greed, and I think we can all. And listen, I'm all for it. If you can put together a business proposal that makes sense for everybody. But how about you just shut up, go try to win a national championship before you try and make money hand over fist over the conferences that pay the big boy bills.
Before we
Fair
get off,
or just make the playoffs.
before we get off this, I do want to say that there are some points in this that I actually really do like. I like the fact that there's a point where they say the players should be able to know and approve of the people that are making COVID-19 protocols. I like that. I think players should know who's making these decisions and be able to approve who's making the decisions about their health.
The tail's wagging the dog still. Like these guys are 20-year-old kids. Okay? Remember what it was like when you were 20. Remember what you were chasing when you were 20 years old. It wasn't dollars for the most part. It was something else. It was beers and girls. Or boys, depending on where you're at. So when you look at it, it's a scenario and you go, listen, I will most likely never, 99 percentile, never let 20-year-olds tell me how I'm going to run a business, right? Because they don't know. There's a certain thing when I was 20 that I didn't believe in, and now at 35, I believe in wholeheartedly. It's called experience. You need
Reliable
life.
sources.
You need life experience. You need. Wow, that was a good one. That was a dynamite one. You got me off my game there. But honestly, like Anthony, yeah. Why are we letting these guys make decisions or girls make decisions for entire universities? That doesn't make sense to me.
I agree. There's people put in place for that. There's a reason there's an athletic trainer. There's a reason there's a doctor for the team. They've got degrees. They are the ones in charge of that. And if the players say, well, we don't trust him, well, then guess what? Bye.
Can you tell me, Anthony, someone that should tell you about COVID-19?
No, I'm just saying, I think.
So how do you think that if someone has a craft of softball, baseball, basketball, they're going to be able to pick better than you can?
At the least, the players should know who's making the decisions. Because I think that's great. I think there are some people that don't really know who's making the decision.
Then they're not looking up. They're not asking the right questions.
Right.
What you're telling me is they have a say in who gets to make those decisions. That should never be the case. If they want to know who's making those decisions, I think they have to ask.
Raise your hand and ask. Yeah.
Anything else?
I think the players do. Like Anthony says that like they don't know who's making decisions. Someone definitely knows who made these decisions for the Pac-12, quote unquote union. But let's be realistic. This is never ever going to happen. The NCAA is so greedy with their money that how they spend it. When they turn it in, like when they turn as a profit for like football or whatever sport, for all sports, the universities make no money, they said, because it's funded back into the university.
So
it's not going to happen. It's because until you get a new set of people, of old people that are in the NCAA, a new face, that's when you're going to see a change will happen.
So I'm going to be point guard on this, and I'm going to ask you a question. You tell me the legit answer. Has anyone ever told you that this will never, ever happen, and then it does?
Oh, yeah. But it's never going to happen right now because of the old people running the NCAA.
If you would have told me 6 months ago that we would never ever have to, or we would never ever have football season right now in Ohio, or basically in the country, I would have said you're full of it.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are. So when you say it's never ever going to happen,
I would have said there would have had to been a war. It would have had to been a world war.
There would have had to be a war on our turf, right? Something going on here that is affecting it, that people don't feel safe. Not a pandemic against an invisible opponent. Not even that. I feel like I trust scientists enough to go, okay, figure it out and we're good. Like what other I'm going to make a blanket statement and say, what other things do scientists do? Like, I don't know. I watch The Big Bang Theory and they have a sitcom on it. So it's one of those things like you just don't know. They're doing something and nobody can figure out this virus. But if you would have told me, I would have said never ever in a million years would they cancel football season, especially college football season, professional in the NFL. It's a cash cow, and the shortness of the window or the limited window that they have to play that sport, it would never go. And here we are. So when you say, and this is what worries me when this came up, when you say it's never ever going to happen, it scares me because in 2020, guys, this is the world we're living in. The impossible is possible. EB, you haven't spoke for a while. What's your take on all this shenanigans?
I mean, the whole Pac-12 thing, I get it. It was probably a rough draft, and they're expecting half of it to get eliminated. And really, my take on that is goodbye Pac-12, hello Mountain West. That's all it turns into. I get the concept behind it, but it's a lot of terrible ideas written down on a piece of paper and seeing what sticks. Now, there's some validity behind some of it, and I'm sure if you really break down the bullet points, I can totally understand it. But just from what I saw that we got earlier in our group, I was like, okay, well, this is just someone trying to take advantage of an opportunity. And really, that's all it is. I don't think any of it really sticks, because if it does, you will see a lot of those people either, if they want to stay close, they'll go Mountain West, they'll go smaller schools, or they'll just say, well, yeah, Oregon was recruiting me, but so was Ohio State. I guess I'll go to Ohio State.
I'm with you. Anybody want to put a bow on this real quick?
I would I'd just top it off with, Yankees said never happen. I'd say right above never happen is under extreme excruciating circumstances. So this is one of those things that take all of your comments wrapped up earlier. This could take flight if we started wrapping up some of the larger ones into it and it caught wind. I think where it's at right now, I think where it's at will never happen. I think if it gets more traction from other colleges, we'll see.
That's the problem. When you get more ideas, things come to reality a lot quicker. So I'm on board with that. Great analysis, new guy. Proud of you. Welcome to the show. All right, let's go. Let's go on to the next one. This one is very interesting. OBJ says the NFL season shouldn't happen. Is he a trailblazer or is he a turncoat? We'll get your opinion. Start with JB. Go ahead. Smiling up in that middle box.
All right. I'll quit putting on something.
You got to remember, Jeff was thinking this was an NBA topic too.
Oh, that's right.
I didn't stay in that lap. He's like kind of right? Like, do we really? We all want the NFL season to happen. We all want football to happen. But like right now, is that the biggest thing we need to happen? No, we just need to make sure the safety of everybody with COVID-19 would keep our safety. He's not wrong.
Go Yankees.
Go Yankees.
Quinn, clean him up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, thanks, bro. I mean, I'm looking at the article on Bleacher Report right now, and he said kind of like what Billy was saying for the Pac-12. He was saying the NFL should cancel seasons because owners don't see us as humans. I feel like that's just a stupid reason to cancel the season.
Yeah, I feel like we're missing the point there.
Yeah, if you don't like it, then don't play.
Billy Mack.
Listen, I'm just gonna make this very simple. I wish my Cleveland Browns players would shut the hell up and go win football games. Okay? Make news on the field, not in words.
Next. Yankees.
Preach.
Ty.
I'm kind of in the middle with it because, like, I understand when you look at baseball season, you look how these outbreaks are happening, and like football, you're going to have to travel. So, like, I understand, like, if you're worried about getting a virus, but to also go off of what Q was saying, if you don't like it or if you're worried about that, just don't play. Like, you have that option to just opt out. You just have to sacrifice the money. But I mean, you're OBJ. You're worth it. You have the money. Don't act like you don't live in $1 million house that you've already paid off. Like. You got the money. You can opt out of the season if you're really worried about it.
Let's start with Craig this time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm less surprised by the comment, more surprised by who made it. Because go back to Ty, who just made the comment of all the money he has. We're talking about a guy that doesn't show up to play football. He shows up to show you his watch and his cleats. Yeah. So I think we shouldn't even be paying the comment any attention. I have old colleagues that have taken 15% pay cuts on their annual salary just because their salespeople working from home can't do their job. Some people are out of jobs. It's an insensitive comment to make at this time while you're on contract for millions of dollars.
EB?
How do you follow that up?
You don't. You found your perfect compliment. You don't have to talk anymore. You just sit there and go like this and go.
It's great. That's
all right. Move on, Richie. Your thoughts as a Browns fan?
Yeah, we already had a defensive tackle opt out this morning, so that hurt. But you know what? Opt out if you want. I really don't care. To put all this negative energy and all these words around our team hurts the team mojo in general. So I don't like that he comes out and says that the NFL shouldn't have a season. If you don't want to play, opt out. The Browns, we really don't need you. You kind of showed that last year.
There's plenty of ditches that need dug, as my dad would always say. Anthony Hartwig, this was your topic. Your thoughts?
Yeah, and it's funny because after I saw this, I also saw that OBJ made this comment about 2 weeks ago and retracted it after he saw protocols that the Browns put in place. And now he's saying he wants to play. And he's always been a guy to me that feels like he's wishy-washy and, flip-flops to what he wants and what he doesn't want. And
whatever his narrative is, yeah.
Right. I'm not surprised he said it. I'm not surprised he came out and said it because he's always the kind of guy that puts his foot in his mouth a little bit. And I don't think the NFL is treating him any different than labor. He's labor, and to say that they're treating them not like humans, the NFL has bent over kind of backwards to kind of put themselves in a position where they can't be said that they're not treating him like humans anymore. So I don't know.
Anybody want to pick up his salary? I'm good. I'll take it. I'd happily take that salary. No problem. No questions asked. And I bet there's about 4 zillion people in the United States that would love to be in his bad state of where he's at, and would love to be owned as he comes out to say about the owners. Paul, the sledgehammer, let's drop it.
I think this is touching base on something that we talked about a couple weeks ago, and it's piggybacking right off of what Craig said. It's not a surprise on who said it, because he just wants everybody to look at him. Look at me. He wants the attention to be on him. He is the new, I can't even think off the top of my head, like some of the look
Ricky
at me
Bobby?
kind of guys. Yeah, I don't know if he's in like Ricky Bobby, just like some of the other athletes that are out there that are always like, look at me and what am I doing? Ocho, yeah, he's one of them. Terrell Owens.
Who dropped the LeBron? Who dropped the LeBron?
Hi.
No, I said Antonio Brown.
Oh, sorry.
Billy Mack dropped the LeBron ball.
Yeah. I think that's all this is. This is just him saying, another reason for people to have conversations about him. And it's ridiculous.
I love it. I think you guys, Craig had that. He won this round with that. How does anybody follow that up? Congratulations to Richie, Anthony, and Muntz for following that up, because I had no chance. Absolutely zero chance. Here is one of the topics that I'm most excited to hear from you guys on. Who do you trust more? And as a parent, who would you trust more? A coach willing to train or a trainer that's willing to train you in that particular channel? EB, this is a topic that you thought would be good. Your thoughts? Quinn's giggling, so there's an inside joke somewhere.
There's definitely an inside joke. It's just a conversation I've had with a couple of college coaches and professional trainers. I think this spring you've seen an influx in trainers of people who, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, and speaking to a couple college coaches are like, well, I've never heard of this trainer. What does he do? And I go, I honestly don't know. I guess they run around trash cans, and I call them time accountability coaches more than anything, because that's all they're doing. They're taking money, and parents think they're getting something out of it. So I was just curious on our panel, who would you guys trust more? Someone who coaches a sport, can train it, and they know the sport in and out, or just someone who focuses because they woke up one day and they want to be their own boss and said, I'm going to be a trainer.
Quinn looks like he's giggling so much like Jeff farted. Let's go to Quinn.
No, Jeff didn't fart. The inside joke is very fun. it's been going on now for a couple years with me and Bailey about it, and it's all surrounded by this topic. I mean, it's one of those things. It's like almost anybody can be a trainer, but if you don't actually know what you're doing or training, I guess, like what are you going to get out of it? And like, I mean, to answer the question, I guess I'd prefer a coach to be the trainer.
I think for me, and I want to preface this because there's a couple things that go into it. If you played professional or semi-professional sports in some capacity and you're relatively well known, I think you get a green light to train, right? Like people know you, they want to take lessons off you. You don't naturally go through high school into college to be a trainer. Now, Billy, when you look at this, I mean, you have an academy. You are technically a trainer. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm both. So I'm on both sides of this. I think when you talk about a parent's perspective, you have to be open-minded to listening to both. I tell my kids, there's when you go into what we're doing is I'm going to focus on specific things. I get you to work out with you more often than your coach does during whatever sport you are. Okay. That doesn't mean that I'm the end all be all, but that means I know more about what's going on with you in that sport than your normal coach does, especially out of season stuff. So there becomes a point where it's like, hey, listen to me during the off season stuff, but then you have to play for this coach. So at the end of the day, like it can't just be me. The answer to the question is a 50-50 split. Now, there's plenty of coaches in every sport, and you guys have all come across them, that have no idea what they're doing, whether it's a high school or a travel ball or any of that. And then there's plenty of good coaches.
Billy,
right?
you are.
So it's just what?
You are a coach, though.
Right.
So that's a little different.
And that's why I look at it. Why? Because I have the perspective of both, or
because you are a coach. You're not just a specific trainer. Like it's different because like coaches know how to.
But I've worked with. Right, but I've worked with people who've never played the game and know what they're talking about too.
I think Quinn's going to need that.
Like I used to have there used to be a pitching coach that I worked with that never played baseball ever, and he knew exactly what he was talking about. Like he just picked up and started reading books and watching videos and going to seminars and coaching things. I mean that's like probably the less than 10% of those coaches out there that have learned about a specific sport. So I think you just got to handle it with care, and I think you got to basically like do some of your own research as a parent. I mean, it's your kid's career, college or high school or whatever. You have to take some initiative and kind of do your own research with it.
Does being a coach validate a trainer, or does being a trainer validate being a coach? I think that's part of the question I would be asking, because I mean, EB, when you brought this up, I thought, well, there's a couple people right off the top of my head that I go, I watched them play baseball. I don't think that they were very good at a certain time, and yet now they're trying to train kids because I'm not knocking anybody that you know, Billy, but if they pick up a couple books, I can do the same thing at the East Palestine Public Library. Does that make me a trainer? Like, what validates being a trainer, and what kind of what recognition should you have if you're looking to start your own academy or school or training facility?
I think it goes to results, period.
Absolutely.
I think it's a
100%.
results-based game. So, I mean, if you can't get players better, then you're done anyway. I mean, that's America. At the end of the day, you're going to fold up. Your word's going to get out that you're not very good at what you do and teach, and you just won't have any kids or players in general moving forward. And parents talk. Word of mouth is the best way of advertising that there is.
YSN is the best advertising there is. Word of mouth is a close number 2.
Fair enough.
I think there's a lot that goes to this, and I think that this is a conversation that we should pick up when we have more time to talk about it. I definitely wanted to get it out there, but I mean, if you're out there listening, watching, start noodling on this a little bit, and we'd love to hear your feedback. You can obviously chime in via the chat box there on all our social medias, or just hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram with your comments. We're going to turn the page a couple more times here. We still have to get to our G. Berwick Farms What's Your Beef. Guys, this is one I want to hear from everybody. Should there be high school fantasy sports? This is a question that was brought up to me about 3 or 4 weeks ago. The overall answer is I don't think it'll ever happen, but how fun would it be if there was high school fantasy sports and you could have it? Let's start with Paulie.
I think it's stupid. That's all I got to say. It's stupid.
Okay. Anthony.
I love it. Let's do it. I mean, as long as there's not it's not gambling fantasy with high school kids. But if you just want to get a league together and say, hey, this is our area teams, there's a lot of talent in the area, pick a player, you pick a player, you pick a player, you pick a player, we'll compare his stats and see what happens. I mean, it's how fantasy football started. So I like the idea. Let's do it.
We're not going to do it, but,
no, but
Richie, Richie, go ahead.
I like the
Yeah, I don't like this at all. I mean, and I know you just said that as long as they're not betting, then it's fine. They're going to bet. I mean, they're high school kids. They're going to be betting on their friends to play. I mean, and there's a lot of things that can happen that could turn really bad, whether they're paying their friends
They could be
to
influencing
play better
or
or
stuff. Exactly.
Exactly, and it could get really bad really fast. So I don't like this idea at all.
EB?
I can guarantee you Ty's not going to like this. Quinn's not going to like this. Richie's not going to like this because they all probably think you should lose to get a first draft pick instead of winning. You got to do it, man. Let's have some fun.
Shut up, Bailey.
Caputo.
Yeah, I'm with everybody else that's not in my own video square right now. I'm against it.
Ty, go ahead.
I mean, yeah, it would be cool because you'd be able to do like the local guys, but like Richie said, inevitably people are going to be betting, and you could pay people off to play poorly in any given game, and I think all you're tainting the sports and the integrity of high school sports. Betting's going to happen if this happens. It'd be cool if betting wouldn't happen, but it's going to happen.
Billy.
I hate this. I hate it. I hate all the rabbit holes it can go into. I hate it so much. I could just see it like as an example. Oh, AJ Havrilla struck out 3 times today. Now I'm on Twitter bashing him. Why are you striking? I hate it. I hate the idea.
Wow. Okay.
Not the answers you're looking for, huh, DJ?
It's not. It's way different than I thought this would go, but I love it. I love when there's a little bit of animosity. Q.
No, it's a stupid idea. It's absolutely dumb. It's almost as dumb as the guy on the left in that middle box. It's dumb.
Wait.
Left in the middle box.
Yeah, middle box, our left.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
You couldn't have just said EB?
No. Not talking about him.
All right. Jeff Bezos.
I think it's stupid. Let's just not bypass that. Let's not all be kind of brain dead here. People do bet on high school sport. Yeah. I've done it myself where we have done a block pool. What
are you doing, man? What are you doing?
And that's our show.
And that is going to do it for that guy. We're putting him in timeout for a minute. You want to talk about thinking, that's not where I thought that was going to go.
Jeff's
Quinn's coming out. Quinn is out of. I've done it myself.
Yeah.
He's still sure.
He's that little Raiders coach. If anybody's ever seen the video, the kids run the wrong way through the banner, then they run into each other. He's probably sitting there going, "I'm betting on these kids to win a game."
Oh my gosh! All right.
I'm sure everyone here knows what Max Preps is, right?
Knows what?
Max Preps.
Oh yeah.
I graduated high school in 2007. People were using that back then to bet on us. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. We are on to the G. Burbick Farms. What's your beef? Jeff Bezos has been uncaged. You can also utilize the uncagedness of unbelievable beef right in from their farm to your freezer. Go to gburbickfarms.com and order yourself a nice slab today. Guys, we're going to start. Usually we start with the new guy, but I already know what Quinn's is. So we're going to start with Quinn and go from there. Quinn, go ahead.
Yeah. Mine is with guys that are in charge of companies that are growing very fast. And, big news comes out today, and all of a sudden we're watching octopus videos. So I don't really know what's going on. And then it transitioned into Transformer movie and octopuses and just
octopuses are the best.
Long story.
That was me. I was 100%. There was an octopus on the beach. It was just kind of flailing around. Like, I've never seen a live octopus. It was weird, and I've come to the conclusion that if I ever see one, I'm going to shoot it.
Breaking news that something blew up.
I'm going to absolutely shoot it. And then Anthony sent a quote, and he had a tweet about Transformers, and I had to go watch the Transformers
In the
video.
middle of taking phone calls.
Yeah, I was on the phone whenever I was doing all this, so it is what it is. Jeff is fired. Go ahead.
I don't have one.
Now you're truly fired.
Maybe okay.
Bye, Jeff.
My golf game. It's been.
How about people that bet on high school sports?
Okay, if you bet on high school sports, you're okay. You're not a jerk. You're not scumbags. It is what it is. Like, let it happen. It happens. Like, who cares? I'm not determining the outlook of the game here. It's a block pool. Like, how many points are going to get scored in that quarter? You're not going to vote on that?
Let's go, Billy Mack. Nobody can talk
you
about.
know, my beef is always with my beef is always with Ohio Athletic Association, and will always be that way until there's a decision made.
All right, appreciate that. Ty Bartel.
Oh my God, my beef is with Jeff Bezos. First, you called me out yesterday, and then you're gonna go out and talk about betting on high school sports after you're directionally challenged, you can't spell, and then you're still gonna call me out on YSN. What are you doing, man? Get it together. Come on.
EB, on to the next one.
Keep it simple. My beef is with the school's not with us already. What are you waiting for? You know the time is now. Just make the phone call. The guy watching the videos will pick up and take care of you.
All right, new guy. Let's see what you got.
Nike, just do it.
No, I don't want to be a follower here with my fresh beef, but I think I have to be. I like the OHSAA bandwagon. I like jumping on that. I mean, this is, we're here to talk about sports and let the kids play. So let them. Yeah, that's current beef.
Billy Mack, that would look like Vader. Like you were doing a Vader bomb thing, like getting that ready, like pumping it down. I can appreciate that.
There's a little Ursuline connection going on right now. There's a little
That's
Ursuline
cute.
connection going on.
They're lucky. Yeah, I see you.
I
see you. All right, Richie Giuliano.
Yeah.
All I got to say is Richie Raynaud is back on Sunday. 18 holes at Flying V got washed after hole 5, so I was pretty upset. Long week, trying to go out and play some golf. Doesn't happen.
Anthony Hartwig.
My beef is going to be with parent goggles, is what I call them. But, yesterday we talked about moving your kid to another school or another, God forbid, another state if, that precedes him with an opportunity to play or precedes him with an opportunity to get exposure. And we talked about that, and that's all good and dandy. But if you're going to do that, you have to have honest conversations, take off your parent goggles, and
I see what you did there. You used a prop.
Take off the parent goggles and have honest conversations about, what your son or daughter, expectations for athletics are and how much they can expect to kind of gain from it and things like that. Because I think during this COVID-19 thing, the parent goggles have been on tight for some people that think that they're.
Did you just tighten up your glasses there?
I did.
Okay. All right.
Missing out the opportunity to be a D1 athlete because of COVID-19 and. Reality check, that's not the only thing that's keeping your son or daughter from being a Division I athlete.
Awesome. Muncie.
All right. My beef, I don't know if it's actually
Can we get tight here?
Yeah, because it's on you. I don't know if it's beef or more curiosity of what the hell were you thinking when you brought Jeff Bezos into this? It has been quite humorous, but at the same time, it's like, oh my goodness. It's great for content, but at the same time, it's like winding somebody up on a bunch of crack and just throwing them in a building. And here we have Jeff Bezos betting on high school sports, can't spell, doesn't know where he's at, can't put sunscreen on, barely can talk half the time. It's like, again, I got to blame this on DJ because he's the one that has put you in front of a microphone and a screen. So
it's magic.
Yeah,
Hey,
there
if
it
you
is.
came down to headquarters, Paul, you'd see on DJ's desk, content is king. That's why Jeff.
Great content.
I know. I have seen that. Content is king, and Bezos is content, I guess.
So I guess my question for you, Paul, would be out of the people that are on these squares, raise your hand if you've ever worn a Batgirl ensemble on the Power Hour. There it is.
Good job,
So we're not pointing fingers here about strange or weirdos, because we're all weirdos. That's just how it is at YSN. We're all part of the same family, cut from a different cloth and stitched together by 3 little letters, YSN. So Jeff Bezos is part of the family. Stop treating your cousin with such disrespect.
Oh, rename our cousin, dog. Can't stand up. We're gonna get fat shamed again. Well, he's fat shamed, by the way.
Can you show everybody your shirt while we have you up? Because it's legit.
Yeah.
America.
We talked about America yesterday. Who's the most Americana out of all of us? And a day later, here comes Jeff Bezos showing it off, Lady Liberty. My beef goes to people who don't understand that we have nothing to do with social distancing of teams when we essentially we record their games or we live stream their games. We are hired to do their games, and we've been taking a little bit of a beating from keyboard warriors here, far, wherever. I have no idea. We have nothing to do with that. Like, it's our job to report. It's our job to broadcast. It's our job to advertise. If a little kid is getting a trophy and they're doing, the pound thing, that's not us. Like, don't take. I'm sorry. I'm not going to push the blame to somebody else. That's society. That you get those maybe once in a lifetime sometimes that you win a trophy. We're not here to watch kids pick up participation trophies. If we're covering a trophy presentation, it's because that might be the only time that kid wins it the rightful way, right? I'm sorry. We're not going to shame people for not socially distancing during a trophy presentation. And if that's your bag, go ahead. And if you're going to use this as a pedestal to get your point across, knock yourself out. We are backing the teams that are playing, because that's what we all bitched about 3 months ago, was there's no sports on TV, there's no sports to stream, and now that there are, shame on you for shaming little 8, 10, 12-year-old kids. Shame on you. That's all I got to say about that.
Don't be a Karen.
Don't be a Karen, you jerk. Or a Ken.
No one likes the social distance police.
Okay. On that, we're we're going to end this show. Guys, a great show. Another one coming up tomorrow. We were going to have baseball, but it looks like we're rained out for tomorrow. So baseball, the Mahoning Valley AA League, Wooden Bat League will take place on Thursday, weather pending, and that will probably be the end of baseball for us for the summer. But until tomorrow, 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, again, welcome, Craig Caputo. It was an honor having you on the show. Thank you to each and every one of the Brady Bunch here. We will see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock right here on the YSN Power Hour. So long, everybody.
I got